Good morning. It is Saturday, May 11th, I believe, and I am getting ready for a busy day, and I've already had a busy morning. I started things out very relaxing. I played some Stardew Valley and chatted with my husband, and then he had to go because he is coaching 2 soccer teams this year, and so he went to a soccer tournament. And I did so many dishes. We were so behind on dishes from this week. It's been a bit of a stressful week. Work was insane, and my husband, because he's coaching 2 teams, is working almost every night after he's done working at the school that he teaches at. And so there are some nights where he's working till 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock. My health has been a little on the side of things. My mental health is fine. It's doing great. It's more my physical health. I've been exhausted and not feeling the best lately. It's just been a lot of things this week. I want to just be as productive as I can with the time that I have, because it is a very busy weekend. It's Mother's Day weekend here in the US. So with the next couple of hours that I have, I actually want to take my manuscript to market, and I want to read through the entire thing. I started reading it Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. I got through the first 8 chapters. I want to read through the whole thing to get an idea of what I'm working with. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my mentor is going to be sending me my feedback in the next week or 2. I want to actually have the story in my head and remember what happens. I mean, I know what happens, but I want to see what I'm working with before I read her edit letter to see if her comments align with what I'm thinking, because there's definitely a lot of things that I want to change, add, subtract, all that good stuff. So I just want to get a better sense of my story again, because I haven't really looked at it since February. And honestly, I don't think it's going to take me very long to read this manuscript. My manuscript is only about 45,000 words. Yes, I am an underwriter. I always write very, very short drafts because I just want to get the bare bones laid out. And there was a lot of rewrites in this where I just had to kind of not settle, but I just had to get it out and keep going because I was getting ready for author mentor match. So I didn't have time to stop and bulk things up the way I would have liked to. It's gonna probably be a really quick read. I've got my laptop here. I've got a glass of water. I might indulge myself in a peanut butter cookie later that my mother-in-law made. I've already had breakfast, but I probably could go for lunch pretty soon here. I had scrambled eggs and toast this morning, and oh, so yummy, so good. I am so into scrambled eggs in the morning. I did want to do avocado scrambled egg toast, but my avocados aren't ready yet, so I'm just staring at them longingly, hoping they'll be ready soon. Okay, now I'm making myself hungry, so maybe I'll fix myself a bit of a snack, and then I will get reading. Reading. Oh. Just talking about food got me in the mood to eat again. I am having some leftover steak and mushrooms and roasted potatoes that we had for our fancy dinner on Thursday, and then I also decided to heat up some béarnaise sauce that was left over because, I mean, come on, steak and béarnaise sauce is heaven. I'm going to finish heating this up, and then I am going to eat it and read my manuscript at the same time, and I'm also getting kind of sleepy, and that's not good, so I need to perk up my energy somehow. Hopefully food will do that as opposed to make me more tired. I am gonna keep reading and eat and all that good stuff. It is Thursday now. It has been a hot minute since I last recorded, but I just tweeted out asking if anyone has any questions about reading your own writing and things they might want to know more about. So let's see if anybody actually asked me any questions. As I said, it is Thursday and it looks like it is about to rain at any moment, and I'm very tired because it's been an insane work week, and I left you guys kind of on a cliffhanger the last time. Obviously, I did not get very much reading done, not nearly as much as I had hoped for my manuscript. That's okay. In all honesty, I was just very busy over the weekend, and I probably made a goal that was a little too ambitious. And then Sunday, I was not feeling well. I couldn't win. I just could not win. And it was also Mother's Day, so I was trying to balance not feeling well and celebrating all the wonderful mothers in my life. And love you, Mom, if you're watching this. I am currently on chapter 15 of my manuscript. I forget how many chapters I have total. I'd say I'm about halfway through my manuscript. I ran into a problem also while I was reading, and that was that I hated everything. I wanted to take my laptop and chuck it in a river. I wanted to print out my manuscript and burn it ceremoniously in some sort of pit. Oh, so many things that I was cringing about. What's wrong, Wilbur? My dog is whining because he wants to go outside. One moment. Okay, so fun fact, there is a nest of robins under my deck, and I let my dog out, and I think the babies might have been practicing flying because the mama bird tried to dive bomb Willie, my dog, and then I was trying to call him to come back in because he wasn't even paying attention. He was trying to like poke his head through the fence to look at our neighbor that he really likes. She flew like right over his head. I'm like, well, you gotta come inside. Like, you're gonna get your butt kicked. Because I'm not worried about what he will do to the birds. He's harmless. I'm more worried about him getting his butt kicked by a robin. I'm just gonna keep that door shut because one of them, like, when I started getting Willie inside, she came really close to us. They were just very defensive, so that was cool. What were we talking about, Will? I don't remember. I think I got some questions on Twitter. So my first question is from Crownless Air, and it is, when should you start to cut the stuff you read, before or after you read it completely? I definitely encourage cutting things after you do a full read through because you need to get a better sense. Lily's getting a drink of water. You need to get a better sense of the story as a whole. In the moment, it might seem like you need to cut something, but you might read something later that you forgot about that makes that piece make sense. I would definitely recommend checking out your entire story and read through the entire thing before you make any cuts. Just make sure that you do a very comprehensive read. And also, I would recommend, if there are things that you think might need to be cut in the long run, make notes of that. Either keep track of page numbers or chapters, or print out your manuscript and make notes in the margins. Give yourself some way of tracking. A lot of times I forget things that I noted in my head when I'm reading through a manuscript because I'm just going through it in so much detail. So make notes along the way, find some sort of system. Read through everything first, and you're probably going to have to do more than one read through. So do just an initial reaction kind of read through and then go through and start figuring out, okay, what are we going to cut? What are we going to get rid of? What are we going to keep? Perker says, any advice on keeping track of what you've changed and how that would affect the rest of writing? It really depends on if you are doing your reading and editing in either a physical form of your manuscript, like a printed out copy, or if you are doing it through like a Google Doc or Word or Scrivener. Those kind of will set you on two different paths, I feel like. If you are doing a print copy, make comments in the margins, have a note card for each chapter, maybe have a notebook where you have it dedicated to just keeping those notes and track those chapter by chapter. Maybe even coming up with a coding system, like this type of marker means that you are going to change something or that you have made a change. You can also turn on track changes depending on what kind of Word program you're in. I know Microsoft Word for sure you can track changes. I'd have to dig in to see if Scrivener and Google Docs have that feature, but I would say check that out to see if that's a possibility. Otherwise, I do also like highlighting, again back to physical physical copies of your manuscript. I have done it before where different highlighted colors represent different things. Green means I'm going to change something. Blue means I'm going to cut something. Red means I really like it and it's just a way of boosting my morale about my story. I would say establish what kind of way you want to go about making those changes and then go from there. Back to when I wanted to burn my entire manuscript and just throw it in a lake. I was just not feeling good about my writing. I know it's a rough draft and I had to just keep reminding myself it's a rough draft. It's not going to be perfect. You're still working. You're still like working with your mentor, all of that kind of stuff. And speaking of mentors, I then opened up my phone like a day or two later and I went on Instagram and saw that I was tagged in something. And my mentor, Adeline Grace, posted, I'm reading my author mentor match mentee's manuscript again for prep for an edit letter, and oh my god, it's so fun and magical and fairy tale-esque. Go follow Patchwork Nerd because her writing is so good. It's like an extra fantastical, more magical Hazelwood. Guys, you don't know how badly I needed to hear that. That just made me feel so much better. I know you have to try to find encouragement within yourself and you can't always depend on others for encouragement, but I really needed to hear something from someone besides the cranky voice in my head that tells me that I'm awful all the time. I'm so grateful that I did get into Author Mentor Match because it is allowing me this experience of having that camaraderie and having someone to believe in me and someone who thinks I actually have talent when a lot of times I don't think I have talent and I don't think I'm good enough, and that just meant the world to me. And I think that's why it's important not just to try to seek out mentorship, but to seek out other writers and friendships, finding beta readers, finding critique partners, finding people who can be in your corner. And obviously we have to not expect encouragement all the time, and you can't just build relationships for people to pump you up. You also need people that can be realistic and tell you what you need to change, what you need to fix, where your weaknesses are. That's really important. Part of me wonders if I need another critique partner in my life. It's just another thought that's been mulling around in the back of my head. Let's see if I have some more questions. This question is from Erin Schulmach. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. How long do you wait between writing and reading it? I always feel like I read it too early and start changing things and never get past about chapter 4. That is a really good question. I always want to read it instantaneously after I'm done, and I have to remind myself that that's not a good idea. You might be overhyping it too much in your head, and when there are weaknesses to it, you might be 10 times more critical because of that. I would say you should give yourself at least a couple of weeks, if not a month or two. Give yourself some time to just have a creative break. Either work on self-care and work on projects that aren't writing related, or work on just a writing project for fun, or do some kind of writing that's more practice or prompt based. Or like if you write novels, maybe work on short stories or try poetry out. Just explore your craft and don't put any pressure on it. That's how you kind of fill in that gap so you're not just constantly sitting there going, I want to read it, I want to read it, I want to read it. Instead, you're working on other things to help better yourself. I also recommend taking that time to read as much as you can. Pull out books that are similar to the genre you write or the age group that you write, and pull out books that are completely different on a completely different spectrum from what you normally write. Try to absorb as much as you can. Just absorb as much as you can creatively in that time to help distract yourself. So give yourself at least a couple of weeks, if not a month or two, just to help create that distance and help you be more realistic when you do go back to it, because it's not going to be perfect. And the more you have that mindset that it's not going to be perfect, the less disappointing and critical you're going to be of yourself. It's okay to be critical, but don't be brutal to yourself. So find that balance. Colin Rowe says, at what point do you give it to other people to read? That is another very good question, because I think it is important that you do give your manuscript to other people to read. I want you to make sure that you read it yourself first. Let your eyes be the first ones on there, because you're going to have a clear vision of the types of changes that you want to make in the moment. Beta readers and critique partners will help you with things that you might not necessarily be seeing. Give yourself that first read so that you can go through with that fine-tooth comb and make those big changes and edits and fixes that you know for sure exist. And then as far as when to share with other people, make sure you've read it at least once or twice. You've given it like a good healthy pass through, and then I'd say next give it to people that you really trust, close friends, critique partners, that sort of thing. And then after you go through all of that and make those types of changes, then you should go on to beta readers. So just make sure you're giving yourself enough time in between, and also make sure that these things aren't happening back to back to back, because you might get really overwhelmed. Make sure you're staggering it a little bit and giving yourself a little bit of a breather in between. I have been babbling for 17 minutes. Editing Al is gonna hate me. I'm excited about this video. It's a little bit different from what I traditionally do. My favorite types of videos to watch are more vlog style content where you kind of see day in the life stuff and then have a discussion interspersed between. Those are my favorite types of videos to watch. And I'm really starting to lean towards that might be the direction that my videos are going in. And I want to get a feel for you guys, because I feel like viewership on my videos have kind of been down, and I don't know if it's just because of my lack of consistency or if it's that I'm making content that you guys don't want to see. I really would value your guys' opinions on if my more vlog style content is the type of stuff you want to see, and obviously I will still make it writing focused, but just kind of more casual and calm. I like things being very calm and serene in my videos because it just brings me inner peace. So I don't know if that brings you inner peace. Let me know down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you're new to my channel, maybe consider hitting that happy little subscribe button. I post new videos typically on Monday. And also join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for Writer's Patch over on Twitter. Just use hashtag Writer's Patch and you'll find us. I want to thank you guys so much for following me on this sleepy little journey. I still have a lot more of my manuscript to read, so maybe it's a little anticlimactic that I didn't finish it. I'm okay. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling stronger. I want to thank you guys for watching, and as always, remember, keep writing, keep laughing, and most importantly, please keep encouraging each other. I will see you soon. Toodles!